Inside Nigeria, keeping you informed on what matters.
Hello, good morning, listeners out there. It is another edition of Inside Nigeria on Wednesday, August 25. Welcome on board. And of course, I'm with my regular co-host, Winifred Obero.
Good morning and welcome to Inside Nigeria this Wednesday morning.
All right, we are with our regular analyst and Abuja-based development expert, public affairs analyst, and syndicated columnist, Jide Ojo.
My pleasure.
Welcome to Inside Nigeria, sir. Yeah. And as usual, we're starting with Nigeria's most influential newspaper, The Leadership. On the front page of Leadership this morning, attack on NDA, security forces croon Kaduna, virus for killers, abductors of army officers. Attack on Nigeria's Defense Academy, security forces croon Kaduna, virus for killers, abductors of army officers. Jide, this is one attack too many on the Nigeria's premier defense institution, NDA in Kaduna yesterday.
Exactly, valuable. So it leaves a sore taste in the mouth that if you see what the social media is talking, people are saying, we hope it's not Asoro that will be attacked next. And people are questioning where is safe in Nigeria. I mean, this is not an ambush on Nigerian military. This is not a checkpoint, military checkpoint. This is taking the battle to the heart of the military. And then, in fact, I learned the only abductee has been murdered, a major from Plateau State.
There were no official confirmation.
Well, there's no official confirmation, but if in 24 hours they cannot retrieve him, it shows things have gone awry. And you ask yourself, we've been having this abduction in Kaduna, schools attacked, and university attacked, so many. And you will have expected all these military formations to have redoubled their security architecture, knowing full well that these people may want to make a point. Recall in 2010 or thereabout when the force headquarters was attacked by Boko Haram. In fact, God helped me that day because I was around that area. And people said, if Boko Haram can attack police headquarters, what else can they not? The same thing when in recent time, allegedly, IPOB BSM members were attacking the police stations in Southeast. People were saying, oh, where else is safe? So if you see people leaving Nigeria for other tribes, these are part of their reasons. Those doctors that we saw who are going for recruitment to Saudi Arabia, one or two of them said they are leaving because of insecurity in Nigeria. They want to go to Senate clients where they can have peace of mind to work in a bed. But I empathize with our military. It's not that easy. We learned it's infiltration. Those people were dressed in military camouflage and they were able to come in. Perhaps it's somebody who understands that environment, that terrain very well. But I think the military should have done a lot better to secure their facilities across the country.
All right, today we are being joined by our Kaduna Bureau Chief, Isaiah Benjamin, who will provide updates on the development in Kaduna. Isaiah, good morning. Welcome to Inside Nigeria.
Yeah, very good morning, sir.
How is Kaduna this morning?
Very well. We bless God.
All right, Isaiah, bring us up to speed regarding developments in Kaduna in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, well, as it is, the situation is that of apprehension, as it were yesterday. It actually came with a rude shock that a whole military institution would have been raided, as it were, and military officers killed, and one adopted, another one was said to have been injured. it wasn't a good rumor. Initially, it came more like a rumor until it became a reality when the APRO of the institution had to issue a formal statement telling us what actually transpired and confirmed that 2 of the officers were actually killed and 1 was adopted. Of course, it added that they were on the trail of the unknown gunmen. That was the word he used, even though we know they are bandits. But the worry is that, a lot of things have been happening around that vicinity. Now, if you will recall, the students of College of Forestry Mechanization were kidnapped, quite a number of them. And I can tell you that that institution, that college, is situated directly opposite NDA. Now, again, it would have been expected that NDA should know that they should have beefed up their surveillance. Now, as if that wasn't bad enough. Now, between the same NDA and forestry mechanization where these students were kidnapped is the road that leads to the airport. Again, the Kaduna International Airport was also raided by the same bandits, and quite a number of persons were kidnapped from that airport quarters. So now NDA is situated between College of Forestry Mechanization and Kaduna International Airport. Now that means that obviously the NDA should have known, all right, based on their security intelligence and all of that, that they need to be more on the alert. And so for an institution such as NDA that produces officers that are meant to provide security for Nigerians, for the citizens, to be so embarrassed, I must tell you, it is a national embarrassment and it's rather unfortunate. Again, like I said, activities in the state became low-key because people were beginning to wonder if a place, an institution such as NDA, with military officers and all of that, can be easily attacked. It therefore means that nobody is very safe. Again, on the rumor that the officer that was kidnapped has been murdered, again, for now, it has not been officially confirmed, even though there are rumors here and there that he has been found dead. That cannot be confirmed officially as at now. Now, it is important for me to also say in very clear terms that, you see, over time, there are villages that surround the NDA, all right? There are villages that neighbors NDA. Now, those villages were known to have been occupied by bandits. And all the villagers in such places, a number of them who are also Fulanis, have relocated from that area because of the infiltration of those bandits who are said to have taken over that environment. And I hope that, I don't know, or I think the security should have been in the know of this situation. Those villages like the Gidangado, the Riwaya, and the likes of them, around that area, have been said to have been occupied by bandits. And there is no doubt the fact that these bandits are not far away from where they are carrying out these operations. Imagine it is equally said that the bandits came in military regalia and all of that. Now, I watched this morning on the Sunrise Daily on channels where a former commander was saying in very clear terms that it is not possible for these people to have had an inroad into the institution without an informant, without somebody there. And if you look at what actually happened, they actually have a target. Because according to what we have seen and pictures that we have seen of where and how we were attacked, they had a target and they went straight for their target. Even though some others did say that they may have targeted the cadets. Well, we cannot confirm that. But what we do know as it stands now is that 2 military officers have been murdered by bandits, though the institution called them unknown government, in their own house. And it is something that sends a lot of fears to the minds of an average Nigerians. There's no doubt the fact that there is something wrong with our security architecture and there's need for us to wake up.
All right, Isaiah, you said the forestry college that was attacked a few months ago in Kaduna is directly located opposite the NDA. Now,
absolutely,
can we describe this as a failure or lack of intelligence on the part of the security forces in Kaduna?
Yes, sir. There's no better word to describe it as a failure. It's a colossal failure because they should know I just told you that aside the forestry mechanization that was attacked and students kidnapped for quite over a month before they got released after ransom was paid. Again, between that place, the same NDA shares boundary with Kaduna International Airport. The Kaduna International Airport quarters was also attacked, and people were abducted, and ransom were equally paid. So it shows that the NDA should know that if this thing is happening within their vicinity, I mean, they should have been more sensitive. All right, they should have been more intelligent to know that anything can happen. But look at it, it has happened. So it is a massive failure, I must say. There's no doubt about the fact that it's a failure.
All right, Zach Benjamin, thank you very much for creating time to be with us this morning.
It is my pleasure, sir. Thank you for having me, sir.
Out for more news in Kaduna.
Absolutely.
Jide, you had our Kaduna Bureau Chief, Isaiah Benjamin, giving us updates as to happenings in Kaduna in the last 24 hours. Now, if you listen very well, you must have heard him talking about failure of intelligence, and again that bandits were living around the environs of the NDA for years. Nobody, raised eyebrow.
Well, again, for short of words, it shows the safety and security of every one of us in Nigeria cannot be guaranteed. And that it's not the failure of the military, it's the failure of government in power. Because section 14, subsection 2B of the Constitution says that security and welfare of citizens shall be the primary purpose of governance. So if as a commander-in-chief of the armed forces, you cannot guarantee safety and security, his home state, the governor of his home state was telling the citizens of that state last week, go and defend yourself. So it then means that everyone to himself, God for us all. And that is not what Nigerians wished for. That is a failure of government. And Nigeria can be appropriately described as a failing state, if it's not a failed state already. It's a failing state. Because these people, by what they did yesterday, they've made a very bold statement.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was on a similar podcast as yours on Monday with another newspaper. And the question that was thrown to me was, can what happened in Afghanistan ever happen in Nigeria? That you have the Taliban taking over and ruling? And I said no. And I gave some 3-4 reasons. But many people disagreed with me. They said, look, never say never. That there are times you never, we used to say, if you want, you can mess up with police, but you can't mess up with the soldier. That somebody will joke and say, my hand is itching me, I want to go and slap a soldier. But now, this is not just a slap, it's a kick on the institution called military in Nigeria. That and this has taken us back to earlier conversation about whether the play of the former chief of army staff at Aeru was actually not brought down. Because it happened in that same area.
Exactly.
It happened in that same area. And it was only weeks after that incident happened that we now officially have confirmation that in Zamfara, they brought down a jet fighter where the guy that was that piloted that plane, Tolu, or what is his name, was able to eject and was rescued. So it tells you the story that the safety and security of everyone in Nigeria is not even in the hands of Nigerian government. It's in the hands of God. And that's why people are praying and fasting now instead of them to, because situations like this, in fact, when that news broke early yesterday, I received it with a pinch of salt. I said, no, it can't happen. NDA of all places. There is no former or present head of state that have not gone through that military training school. It's a university on its own. And you have senior police. It's not meant for recruits. It's not like Nigerian military school, Zaria. You understand? This is the elite corps, where you train the elite corps. And this will have the boldness to come in. They not only killed, they also abducted. So that means you can't get it worse.
A lot of things
We are not told whether they even went with some of the armory, or whether they went with some of the ammunitions that were in the armory over there. So this calls for concern. I know the military authorities are trying to play it down.
Yes,
we have not had any news from the presidency. Maybe you have had a press release, I don't know.
From
the president.
No
There has not been.
CDS said it may be an insider job or something.
Whether it's insider or outsider, is it for me or you? It is for them to determine. And meanwhile, was it last week that the president came back from his medical tourism?
Yes.
One of the first thing he did about last week Wednesday or Thursday was to meet with military chiefs. So what is all these meetings achieving? What are the results? So if they can go kill and you know what is worsening for me? I'm not sure whether they use silencers on their gun. How come they were not resisted? How come there was no fight? How come they walked in and walked out?
There is a report that the guards on duty actually mysteriously fell asleep.
They fell asleep. The ones that were monitoring the surveillance.
You see, where is the drones that are supposed to
have
the drones, the CCTV camera that should have been in a place like that, as to be able to lead us. So
a lot of things
a lot is happening. A lot has happened. This is likely to taking the battle to the Nigerian government. And like I said, it's not the failure of the military, it's the failure of government. Because I would have expected some people to accept responsibility and resign yesterday. And if they fail to resign, they should have been checked. In other clients, people will say, I failed, and they will resign. They will go. They will, but not in Nigeria. You will see that we will make all the right noises. By next week, life will go back. Another one will happen, and we will latch on to that.
We need to take our mind away from Nigeria's security challenges temporarily, and talk about business.
Yes, we have a national economy for review, and it's a sister publication of Leadership newspaper. National economy has on its cover 30% corporate tax rate discourages investments into Nigeria. That's from investigation carried out by National Economy. 30% corporate tax rate discourages investments into Nigeria. And it has on its rider at 20%, 21%, EU, Asian countries attract more investments. Another rider says Nigeria should tax investments less, consumption more, experts.
Well, Jide, is this not a threat to our ease of business drive?
You see, when we talk of ease of doing business, it's sounding like a hollow ritual. It's just like a catchphrase. Oh, ease of doing business. We are promoting ease of doing business. Every year they will pass Finance Act. They will talk about tax reform.
More taxes, more money.
You cannot attract foreign direct investment if your investment climate is not good. Part of the fallout of military attack on NDA is it will scare away investors. But beyond that is this issue of tax. It's scary. Now, you are asking investors to pay 30% of their profit as tax. Meanwhile, in other clients, they are paying like 20, 21. And in those other clients, the government provides them security. They don't have to provide water for themselves. They don't have to provide electricity for themselves. All of those infrastructure that will make business easy is there. And that's why when we were here last week talking about petroleum industry acts, and the presidency came out and said, look, we have lost so much grant, we have lost so much investment. There's an approximate $50 billion investment coming to Southern Africa, south of Sahara, that Nigeria has not been able to be a big player. They can never be a big player if I will have to pay this kind of huge tax. Not only once, multiple taxation. Local government will come and harass you. The state government will come and harass you. The federal will come and harass you. they will pay royalty. You pay bribe on top.
Exactly.
Because they said the truth. You pay bribe on top. And you cannot be talking of ease of doing business if you don't fix this insecurity, if you don't fix this tax system that is very exploitative, if you don't fix the infrastructure. Now they are telling us now that we'll start paying toll on the roads. I'm all for it. But where are the rules? Let the roads be fixed so that I know what I'm paying tax on. Not that a decrepit, dilapidated road, I will now be made to pay toll without seeing the impact of that payment on the nature of the road. Most of the abductions that are taking place on our highways are taking place where the roads are bad.
You're right.
Because you have to slow down.
Yes.
There was a traditional ruler that was picked up between Okene and Ajakuta. It was because of the bad spot. He has to slow down. And in the abductors came and picked him like a snake. So what we are saying invariably is that you have shined the light on what needs to be done. Your report has shown that in other climes, the tax is about 20-21% in EU and Asian countries. And that's what made Asian tigers. You talk about the Chinese, the Indians, the Malaysians, the Singaporeans. What makes them tick? Why they are investors' destination is because of the infrastructure they have and also ease of doing business. In our own clients, you want to clear port, the goods at the port, it will take you 3 months. In other clients, in a week, all the processing has been made seamless, but because of corruption and the unnecessary bottlenecks is created, and then you don't have the clearance of goods early enough, at the end of the day, you are asked to come and pay demurrage. That you didn't clear your goods enough, as if it's your making that the goods were not released to you on time. So there's multiple challenges that we are facing, but these are human problems. They are not natural problems like the Haitians are facing, where they are facing the problem of earthquake. These are man-made problems that can be overcome if only the political will is there. I do not understand. And I'm coming back, sorry, this is an economic issue, but it's also linked to security. If our commander-in-chief of the armed forces was a former military head of state, a retired major general in Nigerian police, he should understand what is needed to be done. When this insurgency and banditry started, they say, oh, it's peculiar, it's unique. Now we have had more than 10, 12 years of dealing with this challenge. Banditry is gaining ground almost on daily basis, and you think an investor, whether in agricultural sector or agricultural value chain, will come, or in the solid mineral, or even in when you on 100 naira profit you make, the government is waiting to collect 30 naira without providing you the infrastructure. They are only waiting for you to make profit, and then they come cap you and say, come and pay 30%. Meanwhile, if you save, your interest on saving is paltry. You will not get up to 10% on your savings. But I mean, I seem to be conflicting the issue of interest rate and bank interest rate and all of that. But coming back to the issue of taxation, I think our tax system needs to be reformed. We need to incentivize the foreign investors and even local ones if we actually wanted to industrialize this country. Otherwise, it will be bye-bye to industrialization.
Okay, all right, Jide, we need to go on a short break. When we come back, Jide Ojo remains with us to dissect some other front page stories on some national dailies. And as well, Kaduna State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Mr. Samuel Arua, will be joining us to talk about developments in Kaduna State. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back, and it's still inside Nigeria. We're still in the studio with an Abuja-based development expert, public affairs analyst, and syndicated columnist, Jide Ojo. It's nice to have you. The next newspaper on our menu today is the THISDAY newspaper. And of course, on the front page of THISDAY, shock, anger trail daredevil attack on Nigeria's elite military university. Shock, anger trail daredevil attack on Nigeria's elite military university, that is the NDA. 2 officers were killed, 1 was abducted. Officers in charge of CCTV allegedly slept off. Ariwa Consultative Forum reacts, it is a desecration. Another elders, 1 senior official sacked, alleged intelligence failure. We talk about intelligence failure. And Kaduna State Governor Malam Nasir El-Rufai has expressed sadness over the development, and he has commiserated with the victim's family, while the military has launched manhunt for the attackers. Is this rhetoric or?
Rhetorics. We've had that before, and I just hope that it will not get to the state level that our, governor's seat, the seat of government in this state, will now be under siege before we do the needful. So much resources have been pumped into security infrastructures of this country. Extra budgetary spending that have been made on infrastructure. Where did those funds go? $1 billion in 2017 yes. December. They said they bought 12 Super Tucano. 6 of them have arrived for about a month now. We don't know why they've not commissioned them to and the surveillance that the intelligence gathering that we're supposed to have, robust intelligence gathering. Somebody told me last week or thereabout that we have about 27 military and paramilitary organizations in Nigeria. And we have a national security advisor whom I will advise should actually resign because he has failed the nation. Let's face it, he has failed the nation. The buck stops. He is like the right-hand man to the president. The president has other issues to deal with. But you are a national security advisor. For God's sake, you've lost a chief of army staff. We don't know the cause of that crash. About six major generals and lieutenant general perished in that mishap. We don't know whether it's even the bandits that brought down that plane. So you have situations where the bandits are now they are running parallel government. Look at how they treated those Greenfield University students. They asked them for some millions, motorbikes, and until they brought everything.
Money for recharge cards.
Until they bought. And they said they were going to be killing those, and they did kill 5.
Yes, they did.
In fact, there is a newspaper report that says, that says 6 out of those who were kidnapped in Kebbi have died in the camp of their abductors for various sicknesses or diseases. Is it that we are overpopulated and this is about the way to reduce the population of Nigeria? But even if you want, look at cholera, it's still killing. Cholera has killed over 1,700 Nigerians between January and now. And you saw that picture of many of our doctors lining up to be recruited to go to Saudi Arabia to work. And is that not a sign of a failing state? I'm being very, I'm sad. I'm more than sad than El-Rufai on this matter. Because we cannot continue this lamentation. Even Governor El-Rufai had to go and withdraw his son from public school because of threat of abduction. So where do we go from here? If the elite, and many of them are now taking their own wives and children abroad while they face situation here. And like somebody, an House of Reps member said to us at one workshop, he said anytime he's going out, he has £2,000 and valid international passport and visa, or to go with him anywhere he goes. So the day Nigeria crumbles, all he needs is to access the next airport. He's on his way out. But he can afford that. I can't afford that. We have no other country apart from this. So it's not failure of intelligence. It's a desecration, the way Amana Arewa has put it. It's a desecration of Nigerian military system. It shows how ineffectual and ineffective we are. And more than 24 hours, there has not been any update to say that these are the people we have arrested. And this happened 1 a.m. There were shootings, people were killed, nobody could mount resistance. As to even say, okay, we caught one, or we killed one, or they went the same way. How can somebody mounting CCTV camera go to sleep? Even if he sleeps, the recording should be going on. They should have reviewed that recording by now. Nigeria should have been updated by now. Look at what US is doing in Afghanistan. There's a daily briefing about what is going on.
And the rest of them.
We are not told anything since yesterday. Mom is the word. After that test press statement that was issued, there was no update. From the chief of defense staff is in Yola. The chief of army staff is in Oyo State on tour of police or military formation. Is that what will solve our problems? The bandits are running riots around us.
The press statement also even downplayed the incident. When I saw the press statement from the DHQ in Abuja here, it was about there was a security breach at the end.
That's what they said.
The fence were breached.
That's all. As if lives were not lost.
And you could see the hours it took them for them to come out with that.
Yes, exactly. It was towards afternoon.
There was an attack one
day.
Day. There was no mobilization of the force to contain them, and you are not telling us hours later that you are going to go after them. No, it doesn't make sense.
And you know that the rumor flying since yesterday that the abducted officer has been found dead. It's also as a result of the vacuum.
Yes, exactly. That's why fake news thrive. You have to
fill the void.
Yeah, exactly, because you are supposed to be updating us. As at yesterday evening, there should have been another update. This is where we are. We've been able to make some arrests. We've done this, but nothing. And even when that plane was shot down in Zamfara, it took almost many hours before they now admitted that
bandits operating. They had the launch pad to launch
rocket-propelled grenade to bring down a plane, and that's millions of dollars that have been lost.
There was no fury from the presidency.
So no, but my issue is this: who has been made to account for all of these lapses? Who has resigned voluntarily to say, I failed my nation? That's what statesmen do in other climes. No, it can happen. It did happen in US, but people answer for it. People resigned, people were sacked. But in our own case, it's carry go.
For want of time, we need to go to the last paper on our menu today, which is the Daily Champion. Yeah, Winifred, Daily Champion has a different thing altogether.
Yes.
Politics on
Daily Champion.
Yes.
Daily Champion is still on PDP.
Yes, Daily
Champion.
Well, on the front page of Daily Champion this morning, like I said today, is a PDP matter talking about PDP crisis deepening as two acting chairmen emerge, two deputy national chairmen are laying claim to secondary seat. The deputy national chairman, not Senator Nazifi Suleiman, and the deputy national chairman, South.
What do you expect? In fact, their only internal issue is not my priority. My priority is about the security and insecurity of Nigeria. Look at what has happened in Plateau. Even in Plateau, yesterday's newspaper reported about the senior policeman, a member of the RRT, getting murdered, as well as 7 other people on the Plateau. Look at how the schools have had, many states have had to go and
battle between police and the bandits.
So where do we go from here? Now PDP crisis, as messy as it is, it's not my business. They ask for it. When you are pushing a man that is down, does not fear death. Uche Secondos knows he's going, but he wants to take as many people with him. That's it. He has those 4 months. No, he's not the one instigating. That's it. But you see, what I'm saying is that those who want to pocket the party, they are the one that has engineered all of this crisis. One, you want to curtail the tenure of an elected chairman. The man is leaving by December 9, not even end of December. Allow him to serve out his tenure. You say no, it will not super. You can. The law is very clear. The constitution of the party is clear about who should do what. If he makes nomination and you don't agree with his nomination, maybe he populates it with his loyalists, you can ask him to change. You can say that the BOT can come and say, no, these people, for equity, fairness, and justice, we don't want them to be on this. And you will work on a fresh list. But you said what? All of them should not recontest, including him, which he has entitled, which is entitled to, that he should not recontest, and that he should leave 2 months earlier than his tenure. And the man said, look, you cannot do that to me. And this, you are dealing with a grassroots politician who has served in different capacities down to becoming the chairman of the party. A well-grounded politician. So you have gone to court. He will go to court to also challenge and mark you, they may not have, the party may not have a candidate in Anambra and other elections coming before 2023. Because whatever they do now with that secondos in place, now they are already fighting on who should succeed him. And it's just an ex parte order that is of interim nature, 1 week or thereabout, before the main issue is out. Now, Akiwomi, who is the deputy national chairman, is incapacitated health-wise. The man cannot.
He came to the national headquarters yesterday and said, well, he was healed before and now he is fine. He can take over the affairs.
But we saw that he could not use one of his hands. He was using his left hand. He was thumbprinting when he should sign, where he should sign. His health is not good, but it's not for me to determine his medical capacity. But you see, they should have factored all of this in, because what you will see, according to section 86, subsection 1G of the Constitution, you know that is the constitutional provision that guarantees people can defect if there is crisis in the party.
And now this is the window.
And this is the window for them to leave. So if National Assembly were to be in session today, you will have seen that the PDP will have lost almost half of its members in parliament, because this is a window for them to leave, and they will be on the right side of the law. That there is a faction in the party, there is a crisis in the party. They should have learned from when they brought him Ali Modu Sheriff. You try to truncate his tenure. That was why the whole court cases that lasted 3 years happened. They didn't learn from that. They apologized to Nigerians that they are a better party. But look at the internal party crisis, lack of internal party democracy. One individual wanting to pocket the party, wanting to be the say it and know it, and then everybody is keeping quiet, nobody is challenging. At the end of the day, this will result to a very protracted litigation, and which may have far-reaching consequences. Because at the end of the day, whatever the interim administration does may be said to be null void and of no effect at the end of the day. So why don't you just manage this and allow secondaries to finish it? If you don't want him to contest, you can defeat him in an election, isn't it? It's not going to be like Kingmakers, 5 people. They can mobilize to make sure that even if he wants to recontest, he didn't emerge victorious in that contest. That's one. 2, you don't cut your nose to spite your face. Now they want to deal with one individual. The whole NWC, the whole party is in crisis. It's in turmoil. And we are talking of national emergencies, national crisis, insecurity. They are supposed to hold the current government feet to fire, but they are embraced. They are in their own internal crisis. They can't even issue press statements as to what is going on in Nigeria. So Nigeria have been left to themselves. It's very unfortunate, but then there is a show they used to have on one TV station. You ask for it. They ask for it. When you bring an ant-infested firewood to your home, you have invited lizard. Lizard will come and feed. So the leadership of PDP, the Governors Forum, The BOT, all of them have failed their members. And that's why this leadership crisis is. I have had the opportunity of weighing in on a radio station where I said, look, this man is on his way out. Manage him. Manage him, let him spend the remaining 4 months. Meanwhile, don't forget, election for 2023, the nomination will take place next year. The one for Ekiti and Osun will take place next year. So many by-elections. Don't orchestrate crises that will engulf the party. But they will not listen. At the end of the day now, how to resolve this mess, I don't know. It has gone to court. Litigation, we know, is never fast. The courts are on recess till September. So for there to be meaningful hearing now will be after September. And it will not be the day they hear the case that the judgment will be. And the man will have a right of appeal to Supreme Court.
In October. All right, many thanks to you, DJ Ojo, an Abuja-based development expert, public affairs analyst, and syndicated columnist. Thank you for creating time to join us on Inside Nigeria.
It's a pleasure. But I wish we have cheering news to celebrate.
We hope so. We hope so.
Maybe in coming days, we are looking at Tokyo Paralympians. Maybe
okay, that will give us a cheering news. All right, Winifred, it's time to go.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been an interesting time with you on set, Mr. Jide. And thank you for keeping a date with us. Tomorrow is another day. See you.
I wish you the best.
All right, many thanks to our Kaduna Bureau Chief, Isaiah Benjamin, who joined us this morning to provide updates about development in Kaduna. To you out there, keep it with us tomorrow for another edition of Inside Nigeria. My name is Bode Gbadebo. Bye for now.